Hi all, this is Cow98 here, and welcome to another requested Redstone video. Today I'm going to be showing off a racetrack lap counter, which I built on the request of fish sticks. So, I guess I'll just go ahead and start showing it off. So, basically, you've got the whole racetrack right here. Big loop, and what you do is you get yourself a horse. Ride me. I will. Go over here, and this horse is multiple people. So if I had somebody here to test it with me, they would get the other horse, or you'd have as many horses as you wanted, and we would all line up and race at the same time. But it's just me, so I'll show it off by myself. So, before it presses button before starting each race, press it. On the right side of the screen, you can see that I now have a lap counter. So I'm going to cross the finish line and it'll start. So ready, set, go. I'm going to run around here, left, right, left, left. Isn't it so much fun watching somebody run around a track? Left. And as I pass the finish line, watch the lap counter. Lap 2. So now I'm on lap 2. And I can keep going. But, you'll notice, if I try and go back across the finish line, it's not going to add my lap. I don't get lap 3. That's because I didn't complete the track. That's what this whole system is designed for, is to keep people from cheating. So if I go all the way around here, over to here, and left, and if I try and skip part of the track, you'll see that my lap counter also does not go up. It's still at 2. I have to go back and complete the track that I skipped. Here. So now I'll go across the finish line. I finished the race. Woohoo! So, how does this thing work? Basically, I've got 2 scoreboard objectives here. Scoreboard, objectives, set display, sidebar, progress. So the progress scoreboard objective is actually the main one. The lap one is mainly for display. So what happens here is we reset it. Each of these gold blocks is a point on the track. Whenever I cross that point, my progress goes up by 1. So if I go to this one, it'll go up to 2, and this one it goes up to 3. But it also depends on what order you do them in. So if I skip number 4 right here and go to number 5, it's not going to go up. And if I keep going, it still won't go up. And so the only way to continue and gain progress is to go across all of the points, which means that you can't cheat, and going backwards wouldn't help at all because it would take you an incredibly long time. You'd only gain 1 point every time you went around. And so, to do this, I've got this whole redstone contraption right here, lots of command blocks. Unfortunately, this is not possible in survival mode. So, I've got this whole thing, but I'll show you how to build it, so let's get to that. Alright, so to make this thing, you're obviously going to need some command blocks. If you don't know how to get one, all you have to do is /give @p command underscore block, and you'll get one in your inventory. And then you need to make yourself a fill block. A fill block just needs 2 command blocks, like this. Fill the area above it with air, and fill the area below with redstone blocks. If I put a redstone block in the middle here, it'll start this block up right here. Hopefully you already knew that if you're trying to make this whole thing, but just in case, that's how you make it. So then, once you've got that, you're going to need to get your points. So you need a big racetrack. Well, I guess if you want a small one, you can use a small one. But why would you want a small racetrack? I mean, really. But anyway, you need a racetrack, and you got to figure out your points along it. So for me, I space them pretty evenly. It's best if you put them on straight parts because it gets a little bit harder to figure out if you put it on curves. So you can see these are all in straight areas. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Just get yourself some points around the track, evenly spaced, and pretty close together, because if they're too far apart, they'll be easier to cheat. And then once you've got all those, you can come back over here, and however many points you have, you need to put that many command blocks out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, did that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, I'm going to put these here. There. So 8 command blocks, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points around the track. Now, to use these points, you have to go to one of them, and you need the coordinates for it. Now, an easy way to get the coordinates for a point like this is to just place a block there. So I'll put this right here. And then all you have to do is actually open your chat and type /set block, and then put space, and then press tab, space tab, space tab. And that'll actually get the coordinates of the block that you're looking at. And so then all you have to do is press Control Shift and arrow key over to select them, and then Control C to copy it, and you have the coordinates for that space. Then you got to go over to your first command block, and actually I need a command for this first, so I'll paste it right here. The command is right here. Actually, this one is a little bit different. There's a harder way to do this. It's a little more complicated, and there's not really much reason to do it. That's what I had built over there. But this one I'm going to do the easy way because it works pretty much just as well. So, the command you need is /scoreboard players set at A. Then you put in the coordinates for your point. Then you put score progress minimum equals 0. Score progress equals 0. Progress 1. So that's the whole command right there. I actually need to get the coordinates now. There we go. And when you paste the coordinates into this part right here, you need to make sure that you get rid of the spaces and commas. The comma goes right there, and oops, right there, and right there. So that one's done. Now, anybody who is within, oh, oops, I forgot. Oh, that would have messed it up. You actually also need an R equals, and then half the width of your track rounded up. My track is 5 blocks wide, so that would be 3. R equals 3. That's the range or radius from this point. So it'll check for 3 blocks this way, 3 blocks this way, 3 blocks this way, 3 blocks this way for players. And then it will give them a score of 1. Because when you press this button, it resets your progress score to 0. So actually I need to turn this block off. Let's see, this one. There we go. Okay. So now that one is the only one that's running. If I cross this right here, I get a progress of 1. And it won't do it again though, it won't add it to 2 because it only detects if you have a progress of 0. So, I need to do the next one. Actually, I need to copy this one. If you can control middle mouse button on a command block, it'll copy NBT in the whole command. So you just place it like that. So I'll just replace all of these so I have the command already in there. Like that. Okay, so I've got my first point right there. Then I just got to go over here and do the second one. You just place the block like before. Do /set block. Tab, space tab, space tab. Control Shift, Control C. You got it. You just go back over to the second command block. And then you get rid of those coordinates. Put in your new ones. Put in commas so it works. And then you need to go over here and change progress minimum to 1 and progress to 1. Oops, there. And this number to 2. Every time you do a new command block, every time you do the next point, you need to make sure that the first 2 numbers are the same as whatever the command block before that was setting them to, and then this last number is the one that you're going to set it to for this command block, which is 1 higher. So it started off, the player was at 0, the first command block set them to 1, and the second one checks for a player with a score of 1 and sets them to 2. So that's the basic idea of this whole thing. You just got to do the same thing for all 8 command blocks and all points. And by the way, you can have as many points on the track as you want. You could have a huge track with a gazillion points, or a medium sized track, sort of like this one, and have a whole bunch of points too if you wanted to, just to make sure that nobody would cheat. This is pretty much enough points right here, but if you wanted to do more, you could. But yeah, you just need to go ahead and fill in all those command blocks with all the points, and I'm going to go away, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so as you can see, I have finished with all 8 command blocks, one for every point around the track. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. For some reason, my cursor is blocking the number at the end, but there you can see it is 8. And I've got the one number lower on each of them, like it's supposed to have, and the coordinates for them all. And by the way, I forgot to mention earlier, but you are going to have to create the scoreboard objectives. It's really easy to do. All you have to do is / scoreboard objectives add progress dummy. And well, for me, it tells me that an objective with the name progress already exists. That's because I've already created it. But it should add it to your world if you haven't done it already. And then to do the lap, you just do the exact same thing, except instead of progress, you put in lap. And again, it tells me it already exists. But that'll create the 2 objectives, and then that'll be done. So once you've got all that over, you have to move on to the next step, which is figuring out how many laps you want to have the players go around the track. For me, I did 2 laps. You just go around once, and then a second time, and you win. But you can have as many laps as you want. This size redstone clock right here is built for 2 laps around the track. If you want more laps, you're going to have to make it longer, unless you have less points. If you have less points, then it'll be a lot shorter. But to do that, it actually doesn't take as much work as the first points. All you have to do is control middle mouse click on the command blocks. That's the first one, and you place that down, and you just have to edit this progress thing. It's already got the coordinates for the first point, and so all you have to do is change the progress. So after you finish the first lap, you should have a progress of 8 because there are 8 points. So that means that this one is going to set your progress to 9 and check for a progress score of 8. So you just need to change that and hit done, and then you can move on to the next one, number 2 right here. I just control middle mouse button. There it goes. And place that down. And then I go in. Now they should have a score of 9, so I'm going to set them to 10 and check for the 9. And this is at point 2. And you just keep doing that with all of the command blocks. Just control middle mouse click to copy them and put them on the clock, and just edit their progress score. And I'll be back in just a minute again. You know, I keep saying I'll be back in a minute, but for you who are watching, it's probably only a second or 2. Anyway, I finished all of these. I've got 1, well, not 1, now it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. All of those are done. They're just exact copies of all of these command blocks with the numbers changed, like I said. And so now we can actually test it and see if it works. So, press this button, my progress is reset. Now I go run through progress 1, progress 2, progress 3, progress 4. If I try and skip around one, my progress won't go up. So progress 5, progress 6, progress 7, progress 8, and as I cross the finish line again, progress 9, progress 10, progress 11, progress 12, progress 13, progress 14, progress 15, progress 16, and that's it. Stop right here. So now what you're going to need to do is first create one more progress level. So get the point right here. Actually, you need the point for the finish line. You get all the points, like we did over there, all the points around the track for however many laps you want. But then on the last lap, you're going to need an extra point for the finish line right here, because you need to detect when the players actually cross it at the end. So I will copy this one, which is still the first point, and put it right here on the end. And when the players are at the end of the race, they should have a score of 16. So this would check for a score of 16 and set their score to 17, like so. So now, at the end of the race, you cross the finish line, your progress goes up to 17. And that's it, doesn't keep going after that. So, now you need to add the lap counters, and that's actually really easy. I've got two commands right here. All it is scoreboard player set at A, score progress minimum equals whatever the number is, score progress equals whatever the number is, and then the lap number. So I'll actually copy this one right here, put it right here. So the first time they go around the track and they cross the finish line after the first lap, the crossing the finish line should set their score to 9. So this one will check for players with a progress score of 9, and it will set them on to lap 2, because when they start the race, they'll automatically be on lap 1. And then the second one, as they cross the finish line for the second time, well, it'll set their lap to 3, even though there isn't a lap 3. I'm going to go ahead and create this one anyway. So their score should be 17, actually. And it'll set their lap to 3. Okay, that was already done for me. So, now, if I do / scoreboard, objectives, set display, sidebar, lap, I press this button, it'll reset my lap score, and I have a score of 1. And now, if I go around through all the progress points, whee! Across the finish line again, my lap score should go up to 2. Good. And if I crossed all the progress points again, it would set my lap to 3, but I'm not going to do that right now. So, lastly, you need to add the commands to detect when the player, well, the first player crosses the finish line for the last time, whoever actually wins the race. Those commands are a little bit trickier because they actually depend on what order they get executed. And I think right here, yeah, this one tells everyone who makes it first. So basically, how it works is you detect a player with a score of 17. 17 is when you cross the finish line at the last lap. Now, if you have more or less laps than this number will be different, or if you have different amounts of points on your track. But for me, that's 8 plus 8, and then plus 1 for the last time I cross the finish line. So that's 17. And the way the command blocks run, they actually run in a certain order. So if I press F3, you can see I have the little cursor in the middle of my screen, the red, green, and blue. And the command blocks actually will run in an order along the blue line going that way. And so if you have a command block here, it'll run before the command block here. And so you need to make sure you get that lined up right, or else the commands won't work. But pretty much what you're going to do is right here, it sets the lap score to 3. Now I'm going to get a command, here's my blank one, command block, put it right here, and you do / oops, wrong place, right here. You do / tellra, actually, I don't have to type this whole thing again, I have it right here. Okay. So this one is / well, this one is title. Title at A, score lap minimum equals 3, score lap equals 3, title, and the text as you finish the race. So this tells the player who actually won the race. It puts it across the middle of their screen, tells them that they've won. And then the one right down here tells everyone else about it. It's the exact same command except with tellra instead. So execute at A, score lap minimum equals 3, score lap equals 3. So they've just finished the race. It's an execute command because you have to do the at key selector. So / tellra at A, and you have to do this funky stuff to make the selector work. But right here is text, and it gives you blank text, and then extra, this is giving you the text. It does a selector at P, which basically just selects the player who won, and it prints their name in chat, and then it says has finished the race in first place, and then it sets the color to dark green. So that way everybody can see that. Whoever won made it in first place. And you put these two next to these on the z-axis, the blue one. You put it to the right of them. Well, they're facing this way. You just want to make sure they run after those two. but then before the next two that you're going to put out. And the next two are right over here. They're simple ones. It is, oops, okay, slash scoreboard players set at A, score lap minimum equals 3, score lap equals 3, progress 18. So because they finished the lap, or finished the race with a score of 17, this is just going to set their score to 18. It actually isn't necessary, but I like to do it just because it seems a little neater. But yeah, it'll check for a score of 3 on the lap, so we just finished the race, sets it to 18, and make sure nothing will get triggered again. And then the other one right here, whoops, it's the exact same command, except it checks for a score of a lap minimum of 3 and sets the lap to 4. And I think that actually, oops, I got these backwards, because I think that they also run along the x-axis, which is the red line. I think they run that direction, which means I actually need to put this one right here and the lap one right here. So it'll set progress 18 and the lap to 4. So the command box will run in this order. The player crosses the finish line, and it sets their lap score to 3. Then it detects the player and tells everyone who finished the race with these two command blocks. And then right after that, it sets the player's lap score 1 higher to 4, so that these two command blocks right here can't be triggered anymore. And that's pretty much it, actually. I think that's every command block here. That's how the whole thing works. So we can go ahead and test it now. Remember, this one is shut off, so that's not going to get in the way. So I'll just get my horse here and clear my inventory. I'll just get it off my hotbar. Ah, can't shift click when you're riding a horse. Okay, so reset scores. I have a lap score of 1. Across the finish line, I'm still on a lap score of 1. I'm going to do scoreboard, objectives, set display, sidebar, progress. So I've got a progress of 1. And as I cross these progress points, my progress score goes up. Yay! I'm making progress. So keep going across all the points. And I'll go ahead and set this back to lap. Still on lap 1. And normally you just want to have lap displayed so that everyone knows what lap they're on. Now I cross the finish line again, and I've got a lap score of 2, so I'm on my second lap. And I'll keep going around, and I'm still gaining progress every time I cross one of these points. 11, 12, 13, 14, so I'll go back to showing the lap. And I'm on lap 2 still. Now I cross the finish line, and if you watch the lap counter, it goes to 4. Oh no, it didn't work. I appear to have made a mistake. Why did this one not work? Alright, so all that stuff I was saying about placing command blocks correctly along the z-axis earlier, it was correct, but it didn't really work the way I was explaining it or the way I thought it would. So here, I'll show an easier way of doing it. I've just set up a command block fill clock right here, which goes along the z-axis, and it'll make this a lot easier to do. So what you want to do with this is just find, let's see, where did I put it? Command block that sets your lap score. Here it is. Sets the lap to 3. That's the final lap. So I want to take that and put it first along this line here. And then I want to get the 2 that announce that you won, which is this one, which tells everyone else, and this one. I can't copy it. There we go. This one, which tells you that you won. So put those 2 right after the one that adds the final lap. And then after that, you want to get these 2. The first one actually you want to get is the one that sets the progress. So you copy this one, put that next, and then the one that sets the lap higher, copy that, put it right here. So now it'll run in exactly this order. It'll go set their lap 2, 3 when they cross the finish line for the last time. Then it will tell you that you won. It'll tell everyone else that you won. Then it will set your lap, well, your progress score first. It'll set your progress score to 18, so that way the lap score won't get changed again by the stuff over there. And then it will set your lap score to 4, and that way these won't run again. So that should be everything. I'm going to set my progress score and my lap score here. So I've got a progress of 16, which means I've run around the track twice, and I'm on the second lap. So, I crossed this finish line right here. You finished the race. Hooray, it works. Oh, my horse is jumping for me. Good boy. Or girl, I don't know what you are, actually. Anyway, so, yeah, that's how that works. The problem was, it works like that. It goes along the z-axis, but it also goes along the x and y-axis. Axis, I don't know how you say that. Anyway, it goes along those two, and they kind of messed up the way I had the command blocks laid out. So you just put them in a straight line like this on the z-axis, that'll make it work fine. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. You just want to, like I did here, have a button or something that sets the player's score, every player's score, to the first lap whenever they're about to start the race, and then set their progress to 0. Even if it's the first time they're going around the track, you need to make sure that you set their progress to 0, because if you don't set it to anything, then the command blocks won't be able, they won't think that the scoreboard objective exists for the player, and they won't be able to change it. So you have to set it to 0 first. Doesn't matter if it already equals nothing. It has to be 0. And yeah, then I just press it and it resets my lap and progress scores. Yeah, this is the whole contraption right here. You can fit the whole thing, all of that stuff on here. It's just, you have to figure it out and place them all right. And that's the easier way to do it, is just to line them up on here. But, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for this video. I'm going to go put my horse up again. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and it was useful to you maybe a little bit. But that's about it. So, bye.